today is Julie Vee, the founder of Exuberance. She is a clinical hypnotherapist with applied psychotherapy and consciousness, a lifestyle coach specializing in weight loss and self-esteem. Welcome, Julie, and thank you for your time.
Oh, thank you, Faye, and thank you for having me on.
My pleasure. Now, Julie, share a little bit about who you are and why you do what you do.
Oh, goodness, if you ask me that question, I'm a work in progress. I suppose on a personal level, I'm a gypsy at heart. I love nothing better than jumping in the car and just driving, around the coastal beaches or in the winter around the country. I just love the freedom and everything. I love music and all sorts of live concerts and theatre. And it's funny, my mother was an opera singer, and growing up, she used to sing, and I used to absolutely hate it.
Really?
I did.
Why did you hate it?
Sorry?
Why did you hate it?
Oh, I don't know, because I was into heavy metal and, like Led Zeppelins and all that type of thing. So, when she used to sing and I was into the different music, I suppose it's like the kids today, they clash with the music.
Yeah.
But now I have such an appreciation, for opera and, the live theatre, the live musicals. I love it all. So, yeah, her opera, the singing was great for me in the long run.
Right. And you said you're a bit of a gypsy.
Yes.
And you like to just get up and go.
Yep, that's it. Just jump in my car and just drive, especially sharing.
Do you have a purpose when you drive, or sometimes you just jump in the car and you just go because that's what you want to do?
That's just what I want to do. I just get sick of looking at my four walls and I just need some fresh air and I need to actually clear my head. So going up around the beaches and everything, anywhere near the water, I can clear my head and think and yes.
Clarity.
And so I've been to probably every beach from Sydney up to the top of Queensland.
Oh, wow. Wow. How often would you do that?
Not as much as I like now, compared to what I used to do.
Right. And we've had a few restrictions over the last
absolutely yes
months anyway, so none of us could do it really. So when you were growing up and your mum was singing and you were listening to the heavy metals, did you feel you were a gypsy then, or
Oh, absolutely.
Something different about you? Were you different to your siblings?
Yeah, only one of them.
Right.
One of them. The other one, he's a gypsy as well.
Right. And was your mother a gypsy or your dad a gypsy?
No, I don't think so. But they did like to party.
Right. Okay. So have fun.
Have fun. Often remember the nights where the neighbours would come in and they'd be playing cards and all us kids would be out on the street playing and yeah.
Having a bit of fun.
Yes.
So what did you do when you left school? What sort of career path did you take up first?
My first career path, I worked as a waitress on the trains.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes, it was.
And what was
Sorry?
What was that like?
It was great. It was probably one of the best jobs I've had.
And you would also meet some interesting people along the way.
Very much so, yes.
And have some great conversations.
Great conversations, yes. Yes, very good. Although I was probably in a different mindset back then because I was very young. I was only about 18.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
How long did you work on the trains?
Oh, probably for about 1.5 years.
Okay. Then where did you go from there?
That's the part of my life that, I was silly about. I followed a lot of my friends and went into different places, and I ended up stuck in an office.
Okay. Being stuck in an office is not much fun. I've been there, done that.
No.
So what brought you to where you are today? What led you into clinical hypnotherapy for a start? What was it?
Well, I've always been that type of a person that if I'm standing in a line for a hot dog, I can guarantee you the person behind me or in front of me, I would know their life story by the time I get to the front of the line. So my journey's always actually been there, and I've always, helped with friends and things like that. They always used to come with me with their problems, and just got to the stage. Then I went and did telephone counselling with Mission Australia on the crimes hotline and the victims of crime, and I also worked with the youth up in King's Cross.
So how old were you when you started doing that?
I would have been in probably 30s.
Okay. And what was that like? What was that experience like for you?
It was really good. It's a huge eye-opener. Especially with the kids, just seeing their stories are just heartbreaking, and how they end up on the streets for all different reasons, and a lot of the people that call up on the telephones, a lot of mental illness came in there, and loneliness. So yeah, it's just a big eye opener as to how other people, what they carry with them on their shoulders.
It's interesting, isn't it? And so from there, how long did you work there?
That was a couple of years. And then I thought I might as well go and do some study. So that's when my study started. I started off with community welfare, and then went on to do a bit more counselling, and then life coaching. And from life coaching, I fell into hypnosis by accident.
Right. And what sort of, did you ever take the problems of the world home when you were working as the counsellor at Mission Australia?
I did. I did. Yes.
Not a good thing to do, is it?
No.
Home the problems of the world.
No.
So after you'd gone and done your counselling and your coaching course, and then how did you fall into hypnotherapy? It's an interesting way of saying getting involved.
It's like the universe wants you to do what they want you to do. Yeah. With my life coaching learnings, part of the course was NLP. I'd already done NLP, so I asked them, is there something else I could do, or did I have to repeat that? So then they put me into hypnosis, into that course, and it frightened the hell out of me. Can I just say that?
Why?
I thought, what the hell am I going to do with this?
Right.
What was it about? I didn't know anything about hypnosis and anything. But by the end of the course, I absolutely loved it, because I could really see, I'm an avid meditator, been meditating since I was about 15.
Right.
So I can really see the connection of hypnosis and meditation. And I can see the benefits. So I knew straight away that I loved it. So from then I went on to do more studies and became the clinical therapy with psychotherapy.
So what's the difference between a hypnotherapist, a clinical hypnotherapist, and then applying psychotherapy to it? What's the difference between each one?
Okay, well, I use the conscious hypnosis a lot on the spiritual side of the conscious hypnosis, like balancing out chakras and things like that.
Okay, can you give an example of an experience you've had doing that?
When a lot of people do like to go and have their chakras balanced, so they go to the practitioner.
What's a chakra for those who don't know?
Okay, chakra is the main is the 7 points which go directly down, and each chakra balances out a certain part of us.
Right.
So, and when they're out of alignment, you're out of alignment. So the person would go to a practitioner, they would go and have a chakra balance. But I found with that, and it works brilliantly, it works lovely, and it's a beautiful session to have. But you don't do anything yourself. You just lay there and relax. So while you're laying there, you've got all these thoughts running through your head like you normally do. You can't shut down. So I worked out that with hypnosis, you can close your mind down, because then I allow you, the person, to do the work for themselves.
Right, okay.
So instead of the practitioner doing it for you, you're doing it yourself.
And it's really important, isn't it? Because you can be there to facilitate and make sure things go the right way. But it's the person who is on the table or sitting in the chair or whatever it may be that has to either do the work there or go away and do the work. But also, not just that, it's having an understanding of why they're doing that work and what the results of that work will be.
Yes, absolutely. And it's also gives the opportunity when the session is finished to discuss with them, you know, what came up for them, and if it's affecting them, and if it's going to affect them. And that way, again, I can give them tools, not to just like to walk out the door and be done. I can give them tools to go home and work on.
So you're very observant in the process as they're going through, you're taking them through the process.
Yes.
You're very observant of what is actually going on. So you know what's going on anyway.
Yes.
And you're teaching them to work through that process with you.
Yes, exactly.
And with the hypnotherapy, we see things like on stage and on TV that there's a hypnotherapist and he's up on stage and he brings people up and they do all these crazy things and all the rest of it. But there's a technique to that in the first instant, but we don't need to go into. But that's not the real hypnotherapy, is it?
No, that's just fun. And it is fun. It is fun. I've even been to those shows and I've had friends go up there and, you know, I tell you, I nearly peed my pants. It's just hilarious. So it is. It's just for fun.
Right. And do they actually have control of what they're doing, or are they out of control? Because I see them being out of control and not really knowing what they've done or doing at that time. What is it?
Well, with any form of hypnosis, a person can just open their eyes. But when they're on stage, like the hypnotist will only pick certain people.
Yes.
They won't pick a lot of people. Yes.
So they're observing the crowd as they're moving through their show.
Absolutely, yes.
It's just something that I've learnt, so it's really interesting to understand. So who do you work with? Do you work with women only? Do you work with men? Do you work with children? Who is it that you actually work with?
It is mainly teenagers and women, teenage girls.
I was going to say teenage girls.
Women, teenage girls and women, yes.
Okay. And what's the situations? Just give some examples of the situations that you work with. Someone will come to you with what?
A lot of it, it is at the moment, a lot of it is the stress and anxiety.
Right.
You know, all for what we've been dealing with over nearly the 12 months.
Right.
That is a lot of it. But I find a lot of it are some, you know, like women, like in two categories, like they're still married, but they've devoted their entire lives to their family. Children grow up and they leave. So it's the empty nest syndrome. And they don't know who they are, what they want to do. So they're lost.
Yes.
And that can form depression.
Okay. Okay, depression or sadness or loneliness or something.
It starts off very subtle, but then if they don't know what's happening, it can lead to depression. It
Right.
can lead to drinking more alcohol if they're that way inclined. Yes, so that's one.
So when, there's a lot of empty nesters around,
Yes,
the baby boomers and all their kids have grown up. They may have separated or divorced, so they're on their own, they're lonely. With what's been going on in the world now, there's a lot more loneliness. And
yes.
so therefore, which would turn into mental health issues, depression, anxiety, all those things. And how does someone know when to see someone like you? Is it someone referring them to you? Is it that they feel they need someone like you but don't really know how to find someone like you to work through the issues that they have?
It's all different. It could be a matter of someone saying to that person, listen, you need to go and see somebody, talk things through. So it's like a doctor. You just try different doctors until you get the doctor that you're comfortable with. And being a hypnotherapist, you have to be very, very comfortable with the person that you're working with and the client as well. Because with hypnotherapy, you're letting go. So there has to be a huge trust between the client and the hypnotherapist.
So, how do you develop that trust? You're saying that a client will come to you. Is it for the first time you start taking them through the process, or what's the process before you decide that they are an appropriate client for you?
Okay. With the first session, we have a deep and meaningful chat. There's quite a few forms to fill out. And yeah, we just get into the story a little bit. And then I'll be able to tell them whether I can work with them or whether I can't. Some people I can't. Um, if they're working already with a psychiatrist or anything like that, or if it's a field that I'm not fully aware of an issue.
And do you find this all out in your discovery session? You find
Yes,
all these things out if they are working with a psychologist or a psychiatrist, or what issues they've had in the past. So you
yes.
go into their history and find out. Do you find some clients don't tell you everything because they think it's not important?
They won't tell you everything off the top of their, straight away, because that's a matter of sessions. If the sessions go ahead, but in the forms that I have them fill out, there is a medical section in that which has to be filled in.
Okay.
If they are working with a psychiatrist or psychologist, I would then contact that doctor and say, listen, this client has come to me for some hypnotherapy. Is it a good idea? Do you approve working together?
And that's a good idea too, isn't it? Because
Oh, absolutely.
you can work together as a team for an individual, because it's not about you, it's not about the psychiatrist or psychologist, it's about the client that you're working with and doing the best for them. How often would you work or go in collaboration with other medical professions?
Oh, well, at the moment, I haven't. All my clients have been quite really good to work with,
Right.
and they haven't been seeing a psychiatrist or anything like that.
Okay. Okay. But when you come across someone that has, you'll be able to then connect, get permission from the client that you're going to be working with to
That's right.
have a
Yes,
conversation with their other professionals so that you can work together. If
yes,
that's appropriate, if it's not, then so be it.
exactly. Yes.
When a client comes and they come for the second session, once they've worked out that they are um, ready to work with you, because they have to feel comfortable too, don't they?
Absolutely, yes. Because
And
they're trusting your life with you, because the hypnotherapy to work properly, they need to really let go.
yes. And you say that they're in full control when they're in hypnotic state. They're in full control of what is going on. So their thinking, their feeling, their emotions, everything they're fully aware of.
Yes.
Right. And there is a big trust factor there, isn't there?
Absolutely. Yes, huge.
Not just on their part, but on your part.
Yes.
Because you don't really know them and they don't really know you. But there's that trust there that something good is there's an outcome that's going to happen that is a good result.
Yes.
And how many sessions would you work, on average with somebody? Would you only do
Right.
one session with somebody?
My limit is three.
Right.
Three sessions, and then they go into groups whether they want. If they want to continue after three, then that's fine. But with my programs, they're about 12 weeks.
12 weeks. And how do you define the people that work in your program as opposed to someone that will come along for 3 sessions or maybe want to do a couple of more sessions?
When they think, well, the programs are based on weight loss, and if they wanted to do quit smoking or any addiction elimination. But with the 3 sessions, do the 3, and then we discuss if they want to go on any further, maybe go and have a couple of weeks break and then come back, and just take it from there after I have a conversation with them after the 3rd session to see how they're progressing. Some people progress really, really quickly and it works really quickly for them, but other people just need that little bit more.
Do they have, do they ever have a rebound effect
Oh,
when they've been and had their sessions and they go away and it works for a while, but then something triggers it so that it starts all over again? So
yes.
how do you work through that process?
Well, they just give me a call again and just say, look, I need another session or whatever it is. But what people don't understand is that, like their age, just say you're 40, you've got 40 years of, all these self-beliefs that you've gathered, all those 40 years. Now, some are good and some are bad. So you can't expect to eliminate all those bad beliefs that aren't doing you any good anymore overnight. It won't happen. So a person really needs to be 110% ready to do the work, because it is hard work. It's hard work working on yourself.
Extremely hard work.
Very hard. There's things you don't want to face, and that's why you push it away. And yes.
So when you have women in particular that come for weight loss, there's usually an underlying issue with that, isn't there?
Yes, yes.
Maybe a trauma that has happened to them when they were younger or something like that, and they put on that weight to protect themselves.
Yes, absolutely.
All that
Yes.
sort of thing. Or, they've just gotten older and they've just put on the weight as they've gotten older.
Well, let's face it, women, after going through, you go through childbirth, you've got hormones, the change of life. Not many women stay the same.
Yeah, it's menopause.
It's hard. It's hard to shift, those extra kilos.
Don't I know it? It's interesting because there's a certain amount of control over what you're doing.
Yes.
And if you haven't done that before, that's even a bigger issue, because you've got to teach yourself to. you need an accountability buddy to be able to do it
Exactly.
and work through it, and call on someone when you start feeling that I need some help. I need some help now, sort of thing. And with kids, what sort of issues do you work with them? It's not
With
one,
the
not way.
teenagers,
Yeah,
self-image.
self-image. And
Self-image. You know what they say, if you want to give a teenage girl any stress on self-image, give her a fashion magazine.
oh, yes. So, and it's not just fashion magazines, and I think they've changed that a little bit now. There used to be the Twiggies and the anorexics and all that sort of thing, but now they're using models that are a little bit bigger and more realistic, which they have to, because we're living in a real world. We're not living in some false place of just, oh, they're all beautiful and I'm not. It's unrealistic. So when you have a girl come along to you and say that I don't like myself, or there's other things that they say, what is it? What's that emotion for you?
Internally, I just think I just want to shake them. But that's just internally. They don't see me with that frustration. It's just a matter of saying, I challenge them big time. You know, if they say they don't like the way they look, you know, I challenge them as to where all their beliefs are coming from.
Mm. And where, when you challenge them, do they buck the system a little bit and refuse to accept what you're saying?
Oh, no, not really. They're when you get somebody on their own, they're quite different as to in a group.
Mm.
Mm.
They'll
It's just
allow.
a matter of delving and digging, and that's where the psychotherapy comes in.
Okay, so explain psychotherapy.
On an easy way of explaining it, it's a form of counselling, but it's a lot deeper.
Okay, and how deep is deep? You're delving into levels and levels and levels, because
Yes, yes.
all these paradigms and habits that we as human beings
yes.
over the years come from our childhood, but not even that. It can come from communities before that come through into our parents, that our parents give to us, that we carry through life, and there's an awareness created for us to understand that we can change what's not working for us.
Exactly. People just get stuck in the cycle.
Yes.
You know, and that's nothing on parents, because parents do the best that they can.
I was having a conversation with a lady the other day, and it was really interesting because she's very intelligent and very smart. And she was saying to herself, there's a lot of stuff that's gone on in her life. And she had started to accept that was her lot in life, and she didn't deserve to have nice things or go traveling or do those things. But that's been a turnaround for her now, and realizing that she does deserve the nice things in life, which is really, yes. And but there are people that go through life like that all the time, and they never change. Because
no, and I find with the women like that do the weight loss programs, a very high percentage will say, oh, I was told when I was younger that you're like your auntie, you're like your mother, and you're always going to be fat. So they carry that on with them all their life.
It's a bit sad, isn't it? It's
extremely sad.
I know someone else I was having a conversation with, and her mother would ring her up and say, "Are you still fat?"
Yes.
That'd be the first thing she'd say to her. And I'm thinking, I can't understand how a parent could say that to their child. It really is beyond my thinking and my belief.
Yes.
Mm. So yeah, and with the success of the weight loss, what is it with the weight loss that you um, see the hardest for women who come in?
The mindset.
The mindset. Okay, what is it about the mindset? Talk to me.
Dealing with it.
Okay.
Dealing with issues that they don't want to deal with.
Mm. Or dealing with issues they never realised that they've had.
Yes, acknowledging things. Yes. Mm.
Yeah, and interesting. Yeah, interesting. And the weight loss then goes into, once they start working through that, it's a like a little road that goes up and down, and they have their good days and their bad days.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And working through it to get to the other side. But if they can see the result that they can get, then it gives them the incentive to want to continue.
Yes.
Do you find that many people drop out after the three times that they visit?
No, a lot of them will fall off the wagon, but that's, that it just, as long as you build up your mindset is everything.
Well, attitude. It's
And,
your attitude.
well, that all comes into it, your attitude, your mindset, changing your beliefs, what you've been carrying for all those years, that you finally realise that it's not working for you anymore, so you've got to get rid of them.
Yeah.
And getting rid of some habits is really, really hard.
Creating that awareness in the first instant.
Very much so, yes.
Working through the process.
Yes.
So what would you say to someone who's actually listening to this, that has an issue, but they're not really sure about what that issue is? Could be weight, over being overweight. It could be, um, they doubt themselves. They don't love themselves. They don't really take care of themselves. There's lots of things that we could talk about there.
It is. It's funny. Yeah, it's funny. Most clients that come to me come with a certain issue, but after speaking with them for about an hour, it's not the issue.
Mm. It's only the one they think.
It's only the surface issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how much pleasure do you get when you send a client away who came in this door, worked with you this period of time, and walked out that door and was feeling amazing about themselves?
I love it. Absolutely love it.
Yeah. But how does it emotionally make you feel?
Oh, do the happy dance.
Do the happy dance.
The happy dance. I just love it because I know you're not only changing one person's life, you're changing their outlet of people, their friends, their family. They're changing everybody around them. So it's not just themselves.
Well, once you start changing yourself and people see those changes, other things around you start to change, don't they?
Exactly.
For the good. So
yes.
It's interesting.
And that's what I actually get more excited about as well, especially if a mother comes in and she's got younger children, because I know she's going to be, not that she's not an extraordinary mother already, but she's going to be a superwoman of a mother with all her, newfound life and everything. So it's just going to be passed down.
Yeah.
And those children will pass it down to their children.
Yeah.
So that's what I love, the ripple effect.
The ripple effect. It's creating that awareness, working through it. And it is that ripple effect, because the people that are around you will see the changes in you and think, oh, what's wrong with you? But nice, healthy changes.
Yes. And it's funny to say that, because that's what really does happen. When you're starting to change, your friends and family will say to you, what's wrong with you? What's happening? Because they can't put their finger on it.
Yeah.
But that person is becoming assertive.
Yes.
Starting to love themselves and knowing their self-worth.
Yes.
Know that they, anything they want, they just have to grab hold of it.
Yes. It's so interesting, isn't it?
Yes.
That you can change or Not you don't change, you help change their life. You
Oh, yes, I only give them the tools. It's up to them to do the hard work.
yeah.
I get the easy part.
You facilitate and they go away and do the work, but they
Yes,
control.
yes,
You're there as backup for them.
absolutely, yes.
So, Julie, how can they get in contact with you if they want to have a conversation with you?
Just either call me, email me, or via my website.
Okay, and what is your website?
It's exuberance, exuberence.com.au,
Right,
or it's julie@exuberance.com.au for an email.
right, okay. And you have a Facebook page?
Yes, I do.
And
That's
what is it called?
Julie Vee Exuberance.
Julie Vee, VEE,
Yes,
Exuberance. And you have a LinkedIn profile
yes, I have LinkedIn and Instagram.
and Instagram. Beautiful, beautiful. What is one tip that you would give to someone that was thinking of having some hypnotherapy done?
Come and have a chat. You've got nothing to lose and everything to gain.
Mm, that's easy and simple, isn't it?
Yes,
Beautiful.
yes, because there's nothing harmful in having a chat.
No, that's true.
Meet me to see whether you can work with me or vice versa.
Absolutely. Okay. Thank you, Julie. It's been very informative, the information that I've learned about hypnotherapy and psychotherapy and all the rest of it. So thank you so much for your time. And I'm Faye Waterman from Talking All Things Business, and I'll be back again some other time. But thank you, Julie.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.